Welcome, fellow paranormal enthusiasts, and welcome to the next episode of Haunted Wisconsin. Today we'll be visiting the town of Kewaunee, where we're going to visit one of the most haunted buildings in this town. So come along with me on our next journey into the unexplained. Well, here we are at the famous Karsten Inn in the city of Kewaunee. Now, this is actually the second hotel that was built on the same location. The first hotel was actually built pre-Civil War in 1858 by a man by the name of Charles Brandes, who built the hotel entirely in wood. Now, when Mr. Karsten purchased the building in 1911 from a Miss John Edwards, who sold it that year because of her husband dying that same year, Mr. John Edwards, he only owned the hotel for 1 year, at which time he would have a terrible, tragic fire in the kitchen of this hotel, which ended up burning the whole place down within 4 hours. But luckily, nobody was seriously injured or there was no deaths because of that fire. Now, after that, Mr. Karsten did fall into some luck. He did get his full insurance from the company for the fire, and he built the hotel of his dreams. And we're going to go inside, and I'm going to show you some points of interest in there and tell you a little bit more about Mr. Karsten and the spirits that haunt this hotel. So follow me. Well, here we are on the second floor of the Karsten Hotel. Now, this was the favorite floor of Mr. Karsten. He stayed here while he ran the hotel, more so on the other side of the hallway. There's two hallways. There's this side, and then there's the other side that actually faces the harbor, and then there's another hallway that connects the two. And he would stay of one of three rooms over there, and he liked that side because he could look out at the harbor when he was feeling a little depressed or under the weather. He could look at the harbor, and it actually brought up his spirits. But he was always reported as being a gracious host and always upbeat, so all the guests always really loved him. Now, Karsten actually lived a very interesting life. In addition to running this hotel or purchasing this hotel, he also was a steamboat captain, retired, as well as he was a Kewaunee mayor for a stint, and he also started the Pabst Brewing Company here in Kewaunee. So he was a busy man. Now, after his passing in 1940, or I should say before that, after he retired from the hotel business, he did stay here for his entire life, and his son, William Karsten Jr., actually started running the hotel at that time, the daily events and so forth. He also had a son who was William, 3, so they really liked that name, I guess, William Karsten. And he was great buds with his granddad. The two were often reported playing in the hallways here, just goofing off and having a good time. Now, after his passing, Mr. Karsten Sr., in 1940, from a massive heart attack in one of his suites over there in his favorite chair, his little grandson, who was 5 at the time, actually died only a short 3 weeks after his passing from complications from influenza. They also said he probably had a little bit of depression because he did lose his best buddy earlier that month. So they do seem to be the couple of the hauntings that do take place here, little William and as well as Mr. Karsten. Now I'm going to take you on the 3rd floor, and I'm going to tell you about another haunting that takes place up there, a lady by the name of Agatha. So follow me. Hey, you made it. Here we are on the 3rd floor, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the woman that haunts that room right there, 310. I'll tell you a little bit more about Mr. William Karsten and the hauntings he does on the 2nd floor, and his grandson William III. Now, a lot of guests have reported hearing a small boy who runs the hallway down there on that 2nd floor. And also in the suites that Mr. Karsten stayed in, a lot of guests have reported smelling the smell of cigar, because Mr. Karsten did like a good cigar on occasion, even though they have a strict no smoking rule in effect nowadays. Back then I guess they didn't, and they still do smell a cigar on occasion. When he does get angry with an individual or a person, he was never really mean and spirited. He's always a very nice man, but he does occasionally will rearrange the furniture around in their room if he gets mad with you. So that's kind of a couple of things he does. Also, William will play with a lot of the guests. If they have children here, he's also reported playing with the children. A lot of the parents will be asking, who are you talking to? And they're like, oh, William Karsten. And they won't see the child, but the children often will see William, and they'll be playing with him a lot of times in that hallway. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the woman that haunts that particular 310. Now that was a woman by the name of Agatha. Now who was Agatha? She started working for the Karsten in 1925, I should say. Her family was having financial problems, so she began working for the Karsten as a maid, I guess, a homestead maid. And she did live here from 1925 to 1937. And she moved out, even though she loved her job. She was very good at housekeeping and that kind of thing, and she loved it here. It was a pride point for her. She did move out in 1937 due to that her father became desperately ill, and she had to go back to the homestead to help out with the family farm. She always regretted that, and after her death in '58, she came back to the Karsten, the place that she loves the most. So she has been seen on occasion in there by guests. She also detests smoking, I guess. So if you're smoking, or you can't smoke anymore, but if you put a cigarette out or whatever, I guess she'll knock it off the table or whatever. She also has knocked books off and woken people up in the middle of the night. And also, if she does get angry with you as well, she's not mean-spirited, but she did, on a previous occasion, one of the owners that owned the hotels over the years, a young lady, was walking down the stairs, and she was doing something to the hotel I guess Agatha didn't really appreciate. And she ended up shoving her and actually causing the lady to fall down the second stairs all the way to the bottom. They didn't figure it was intentionally to be mean. She just was kind of shoving her, and it did end up causing the woman to fall, but she's okay, and Agatha never did anything again like that since. But she's also known to cause smells to happen, such as roses and other scents. So, like I said, she always loved it here. It was a pride point for her to work at the Karsten, and she always liked it here, and she's still here now after death. Now, hopefully, we're going to interview one of the employees here, the manager, Randy, and he's going to hopefully tell us some of his experiences while working here. So, let's go talk to him. All right, well here we are in the basement of the historic Karsten Hotel, and we're with acting manager Mr. Randy, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his experiences while working here at this classic hotel.
Well, over the years I've heard a lot of strange things, seen, images, and I saw a woman in the window once when there was no one else in the hotel. There was one time I was in the bar area, and it was late at night, and there was nobody here except me, and I was closing up, and I had a woman whisper in my ear, and it kind of startled me a little bit. I've heard footsteps running upstairs when there's nobody in the building, doors slamming, lights going on and off. There's been quite a few different little things, but nothing real horrible, but just enough to let you know.
Yeah.
You're not by yourself here.
Yeah. So what did that woman say?
Oh, she said Agatha.
She said Agatha. Nice. Now, how long have you been here, Randy?
6 years.
6 years. Yeah. I guess spirits haven't scared you off yet, huh?
Not yet, no.
Excellent. Well, good. Well, I guess that wraps it up for today. I thank you for your time. Yeah, thank you, Randy. Yeah. And hopefully we'll see you again.
Oh, I hope so too.
In this world, not the next.
Right. I agree.